Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video of the Arsmoth. Today we're going to be carrying on with the What If Rings of Fire Kingdoms entered into our world or appeared on Earth series, and we are now on episode 11, I believe. So, as you've probably noticed, the map does look a little bit different from last time. And give me a second. And that is mostly because you've got the Kingdom of Frostbite now. You have the Kingdom of Solval, or Solfail, basically the Kingdom of Amidon, lost its overseas territory. So Aradon is now, like, what, half the size of what it used to be. Probably even smaller than that. The Kingdom of Solfara is has also expanded its borders. The Kingdom of Gossamira has also expanded its borders as well. So a few things have changed. The Empire of Neptara, they're still doing pretty well. They are definitely going to expand more along the coast. So they're just gonna take this part here, and they're definitely gonna take over this whole section here. So this whole section is gonna be under Neptarian control. So it's probably gonna look so along the lines of this. So we just fill all that in. So they now control this huge chunk of what would be Russia, and they are a lot bigger. And they're probably getting a little bit too big, but they're not really suffering any consequences at the moment because the Queen is... She's essentially ordering that more and more trading towns and trading villages to be constructed, and so that's what's going on. So I might even put one here. And these trading towns and trading villages, they are vital to for also like a war effort, so that soldiers can like jump from town to town if needs be. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Zoom in a little bit here. Zoom in a little bit here. Like so. So they now have control of quite a bit more land. But relations are still soured between the Kingdom of hang on, let me see how this is said.
Kingdom of Northfire.
Kingdom of Northpire. And so relations get so bad that the Queen of Northpire, she sends an ultimatum to the Queen of the Empire of Neptara, basically ordering that she withdraws all of her citizens and all of her forces from the southern Finnish area, but they would obviously call their continents different. And so the Queen of Neptara, she basically says no. and suddenly the war kicks off, and if we look at the alliances, so there are alliances. So the war kicks off, um, and forces from North Pyre, they start to push down south, and they want to cut off the forces in this area here, and so they aim to basically cut off this whole section here, and they are lightning quick. And you've got to bear in mind that North Pyrean forces have definitely been bordering the borders, and the Empire of Neptara forces, they're a little bit slower to organize, but by the time they organize, it's basically already too late, because North Pyre forces have cut off the two strips. But you've got to bear in mind that the dragons of that reside in the Empire of Neptara, they are sea wings. They originally came from the Sea Wing Kingdom, and so they can still like swim along the this strip of land here. It's probably gonna be like pretty damn cold, but I feel like they will be quite used to it by now. So they still got like some kind of like water bridge, if you could call it like that. But now the Queen of North Pyre, she orders that this whole section here is to be invaded immediately, and this is definitely what starts to happen. Is the forces start to invade. They take over this village, this town here, and they keep on invading, and they also take over this town here. And the death tolls are definitely near thousands now, and the North Pyre forces, they continue to push, and they take over this town here, and this place is falling very quickly. But help is not too far away, and the Neptarian army, Royal Army, they start a massive assault in the southeastern part of the Kingdom of North Pyre, and they start pushing very aggressively, and they just take over swaths of land. They do the what in our case would be the first ever spearhead, and they push very aggressively um, um, into the territory, and they just push through. But then you got to bear in mind that they're going to be lining these borders with dragons, and so the Neptarian army is going to be probably twice as large as the Kingdom of North Pyre army, and so it's just a matter of time really. But then they start to just like fan out and just taking over places. They've now cut off this section here, and so this force continues to push inland with not really a little bit of resistance, but not really that much resistance. They then do probably one of the biggest encirclements ever. Another battalion of Neptarian forces push through, and they take over this part of North Pyre, and so North Pyre now has two parts of its kingdoms that are completely separate from its main kingdom. But the Neptarian forces don't stop there. They continue pushing, and they continue pushing, and they're meeting more and more resistance, and it does slow down. but they continue pushing, and they're just unstoppable. And then they link up with what used to be their cut-off um, area, but by now, North Pyrian um, soldiers have pushed, and they have taken over. Not that much down south because there's a lot of soldiers here, but they've definitely pushed into this area here, and they've taken over the whole southern part. But now, because they're separated um, from their main kingdom, this is going to cause problems. And so they try and fight. They do try and push in and try and cut off this again, but they are pushed back extremely aggressively. They are pushed back very aggressively, and they do actually lose some land, and the Neptarian forces do claim another one of their towns back, and the biggest blunder of this war is the forces of the North Pyrian forces in this area here. They're focused on the mostly the northern part of the defense, and so that allows the Neptarian forces to push very aggressively into this part here. But then they are stopped just outside of this town here. So they're literally on the border of this town. And I feel like the forces will definitely defend the town areas. They won't really defend the raw areas, and so this is going to allow the Nectarian forces to just steamroll through this area here, and before you know it, they are now split into two smaller areas. What the Queen of Neptara actually does is quite clever. She puts the minimum amount of forces around this area just to make sure they don't expand, but then she completely crashes down a whole ton of her forces onto this area, and this area is just annexed in a matter of weeks. It's completely under Neptarian control, and so she does the same thing to this area, and both these areas collapse in probably 1 or 2 months. So very quickly they collapse. And then she focuses on this area, and this area takes quite a bit longer to collapse, but it does eventually collapse after they lose this town here. And this whole area just completely, they completely surrender after some time. So they completely surrender. And this area, they're still fighting, but they are losing a lot of manpower, or dragon power as you call it. And after some time of the Neptarians advancing pretty hard against this town, this whole section here, they just surrender. So this whole section here surrenders because they just can't fight anymore. And this whole section here, they do continue to fight, and they do push pretty aggressively to try and link up with their main kingdom. But the Queen of Neptara, she sees this, and she just launches a full-on assault, which pushes them back further than what they were before, and this is not looking good for the forces of North Pyra. And so, without any other options, they just surrender. They completely surrender. And the Queen of North Pyra, she did declare war, but now she's looking to sue peace. But the Queen of Neptara, she's not having it. And so with the army in disarray, and the towns that they had taken before is now under Neptarian control once again. The queen can't really do anything because she's trying to gain control of her army again. But by the time she gains some control of her army, the Neptarian forces have just completely taken over this whole area. They've just completely steamrolled the North Pyrian forces, and so it's just not looking good. And it doesn't help that members of her army are defecting. They are surrendering and whatnot, and it's just getting worse and worse for her kingdom. And so after some time, after like a good year of fighting, it's not really fighting; it's more of a steamroll. And so the Neptunian forces they do get down to like this point here, so they now control this whole section here. They now control this whole section here. So after some point, the Queen of North Pyra, she sends a message to the Queen of Neptara, basically saying, you know, I want to sue for peace. And so the Queen of Neptara says that the Queen of North Pyra has to release this whole section of land here and let them be their own kingdoms. And so a peace treaty is signed, and two new kingdoms come out of this whole mess. So I'm gonna quickly draw out these two new kingdoms. So they're gonna look rather interesting, honestly. They're gonna look like this, and then you're gonna have this one, which is gonna look a bit similar, which is gonna look something like this. And so the Queen of Neptara, she doesn't really want this land that much, honestly. She more wanted to just deal with a queen who was, you know, just hungry for territory and wasn't really being that much of a good queen. And so now, the Queen of Neptara does actually give up two of her towns. She does actually tell her citizens to leave the towns and whatnot. And there's a little unrest about this. Actually, she might not actually do that. She might not actually do that. So I'm just gonna get rid of this completely. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill in this whole section here. Like so. And then so there's two new kingdoms, or two new territories, should I say, which have been released, and I'm actually going to colour them, and they are actually going to have very similar coloured towns and whatnot. So you can have one there. You have one there. You can have one up here. and you're gonna have one up here, and you're gonna have one up here, and then you're gonna have one up here. But this one is definitely gonna have maybe slightly different coloured towns. So, so, so. Uh, Scroll up to you. So this capital is going to be here. This one's going to be here. Another town here. And then so have that there. Might even have that a little bit further up north, probably around here. And so the kingdom of North Pyra, they have just completely lost everything. And so now they are let me look. Let me make that a lowercase p. There we go to this. And so the Emberfane, they do actually also ask if they can like have this, and they take it over. And basically the capital of the North Pyra kingdom has to change, and so it does. So it fits there. So we put one here, like so. And then we put one here. And so the kingdom of North Pyra has lost probably like 90% of its territory. And it's just not looking good. But these two kingdoms I will probably name later on. But yeah, that's ended. And the Empire of Neptara does look quite a bit bigger. And I'm actually going to remove that, remove all of this, remove all of these. Because the kingdom of Neptara is also going to give independence to another one of its kingdoms. And so this kingdom is going to be That's slightly more. Yeah, it's slightly more. So they're gonna give independence to this kingdom here. So, um, I'm actually gonna fix these borders. Like so. Let's actually continue to expand this kingdom. Or this new kingdom, shall I say. And so this new kingdom, um, it does look a bit like, it does look quite large. Just gonna take this over. And so it is quite a large kingdom, to be brutally honest. Uh, oh god, I'm coughing like a madman. And so their capital is probably going to be here. Um, they can have a town there. They can have a town here. Don't put a town there. Put a town there. Put a town here. Put a town here. One in this area. And then one in this area. So now we got three more independent kingdoms. And the Empire of Neptile has definitely grown in size. But because the Queen, she's not a dictatorial queen at all. She's, you know, more of a laid-back kind of queen. Um, let's see, let's actually have a look at that. I'm actually probably going to get rid of this. Actually, no, I won't. I'll keep that. And so, I think that who's going to join this alliance? Um, I think that this little kingdom here will definitely join this alliance. Oh dear. Like that. And so the kingdom of Aradon, even though it lost its territory in this area, like southern Iran area, um, it's still gonna have pretty good relations with that area. So a few things have happened. Let's actually focus on some of the kingdoms expanding. So this kingdom here, they are definitely going to focus on expanding by quite a lot. They're actually gonna, by the time that that war settles, this kingdom's gonna have taken over this whole section here, and so they now control this whole section. Like so. And then they start to populate these lands with, oh dear, with towns and villages. Like so. So might even put one down here. Might even stick one there. Might even put one there. And so I feel like that they would definitely focus on expanding more inland. So they were, you know, also, just focus on taking over this whole part of this land. So if I just fill this all in, and you'll put in mind that these are dragons from the Wings of Fire universe, so they're definitely going to expand their kingdoms a lot more. And so we would most likely have our next empire. We could potentially see Empire of Noctis. Can I increase that some more? There we go. Let me get rid of this whole section here. Like so. Okay. So the Kingdom of Noctis changes its name to the Empire of Noctis. They do also take over this whole island here, but they don't build any like towns or villages on it. Because they are more preoccupied with expanding the influence that they have. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to expand their influence by building more towns and villages. So and so they now control a huge portion of North America. The Kingdom of Nephil, they did give up, not really give up, but they lost influence in this area, which became the Kingdom of Frostbine. Frostbine is definitely going to focus on aggressively expanding. So they're going to have an aggressive expansion policy. So they're just going to take up this whole section here. They're also going to take over this whole part here. Like so. Like so. And they may even attempt to try and do something similar to what happened between Neptara and North Pyra, and they're going to attempt to block the Nephil kingdom off. So these four little kingdoms, there is going to be some tension, and there is going to be a war that happens, and they're going to like go back and forth. So you can have like this part that gets taken over, and then this kingdom just like pushes them back, like so. So they actually push them back. I'm actually going to make this smaller. So they do actually push them back. And they do actually claim, or not claim, but take over one of the towns of the Rhymehold Kingdom. And this doesn't really sit well with the Queen of Rhymehold. And she launches an all-out assault into the northern part of the enemy kingdom, and she takes over this whole portion of or this town. But she also launches a massive assault in the southern portion, and so you can kind of see what's going on. She's most likely trying to do a circulation attack, and she actually does take over this portion here. So, they are expanded by quite a bit, and now these forces, they do start to push, like, more this way to try and link. And the Queen of the Galicilia, however you pronounce that name, kingdom, the Queen of this kingdom, she sees what's going on, and she requests the aid of the Ice Talon Kingdom, but the Ice Talon Kingdom doesn't want to know. They're not really interested in wars at all. But the Frostclaw Kingdom definitely, they are definitely going to try and aid the kingdom that is being attacked by the Ramhole Kingdom. And so they declare war on the Kingdom of Ramhold. But the problem is the Ice Talon Kingdom. They have better relations with the Kingdom of Ramhold. They're not allies with the Kingdom of Ramhold, but they do have relations, and so they embargo the Frostclaw Kingdom. And this annoys the Queen and the Council of the Frostclaw Kingdom, and so relations start to sour very quickly between these two kingdoms. And then suddenly you have a war that breaks out between these two kingdoms, and the Ice Talon Kingdom is the first to mobilize, and they take over this whole portion extremely quickly. Like, it is lightning, it's like blitzkrieg fast. But they do the same to this portion here, and they actually push very aggressively, and they take over this whole these two towns. So the Frostclaw Kingdom, what they do is they do align themselves with the Galicia Kingdom. So, oh dear. Oh, there you go. So you now have an alliance between the two kingdoms. And this is going to start causing serious tensions. Wait a minute, give me a second. If I just but the Kingdom of Rumhold and the Kingdom of Ice Talon, they are also going to form an alliance. like so. So they form an alliance, and so the bigger kingdoms, they are watching this war play out, um, and they're just seeing like who to support really. So the Frostbone Kingdom, they do learn of this war, and they do actually expand down, and they do successfully cut off the kingdom of Nifel. Um, but they align themselves with the kingdom of Reinhold and the um, um, kingdom of Ice Talon, and so they become allies. So oh god, they become allies. So you now have allies here, um, and Noldara. They also ally themselves with Ice Talon and Reinhold, and so they are now allies of this kingdom. They are part of this alliance. Um, and you're then going to have um, a situation happen where Nefel, they're going to align themselves with um, Frostclaw as well. I think Chiron will probably, just stay out of it. They might actually thinking about it. Um, they mm, they might actually align themselves with Ice Talon. So we're going to do that. So they align themselves with Ice Talon. So they're now allies, Ice Talon. And so this whole war kicks off. Um, and the Frostbone, the first thing they do is they just completely take control of this whole section here. And they just take it all. They just take control of all of it. Um, and so they're now in control of all this. But while that's going on, Reinhold, with support from direct support from Frostbone, is going to take control of this huge swath of the kingdom here. I might actually hang on a minute, just like that. Um, and so we're going to put that there. This, this. That's make that smaller so I can put that to 2. Okay. And so Ice Talon, um, they're also going to be pushing um, into the Northern Kingdom, and they're just going to take these two towns here. They're just going to take them over, and they're also going to be pushing relatively hard into the Frostclaw Kingdom, like so. And it's just going to take over huge swaths. But they got to be careful because the Nivelle Kingdom, who has not only the most experienced and oldest army, but they're also like the largest kingdom. They're going to push relatively hard into this area here, and they're just going to they're just going to start to take over huge portions of this, and they're actually going to liberate huge parts of this kingdom here. They're actually going to just like basically completely liberate um, their ally kingdom, but they're not going to stop there. They're going to carry on pushing. They're actually going to encircle um, this town here, so they're just going to encircle it, and they're going to bolster up um, what do you call it? Their forces, their front line. But while that's going on, the kingdom of Noradar, they are going to completely take over this area here. So they're going to just take it over. So this whole area is now Noradarian control. And, you know, their relations were neutral to begin with, but after the war kicked off, because, you know, they favored different members of the small kingdoms, um, their relations soured quite quickly. And so Noradarian forces, they do take over two towns of the kingdom of Nifel, and Chiron, the kingdom of Chiron, they are also going to push relatively hard into this, and they're gonna take over a huge chunk of Nifel territory. And now Nifel is in serious danger because now their palace is very close um, to the front lines. So you got this whole situation here. So I'm actually going to that that I'm going to get rid of that as well. So you got this whole situation where Nefel, they joined the war, and it's not honestly like if I was to be honest, it's not looking that good for them. It really isn't. I'm just gonna put gonna stick this town here and this town here, and I'm gonna put this town right here. So This town will be under Nordarian control, like so. And so it's really not looking good for the Nephilians, because well, they're still pushing relatively hard. Oh god, I don't know why I keep saying that. Frostbine, they are very aggressive in expanding, and just taking over enemy territory, and they're just ruthless. They really are ruthless. And so there's this little gap here which has been opened up, and so they do actually take over more of this area here, and then they just start to just invade this kingdom, as well as invading Nephel. But Reinhold, they are also going to be invading more, and they're just going to be taking over more of this territory, like so. Yeah, see, let me go back to okay. So they continue to expand, and this kingdom sues for peace. So they are now completely out of the game. They are essentially they are split between um, these two, well, these three, honestly. Oh god. Okay. Um, but these two, that all these three kingdoms, they are going to take over as much territory as possible and just separate this kingdom between themselves. Um, so they're just gonna take it over, like so. And then this kingdom, Frostbine Kingdom, they are also going to take over this kingdom by themselves. Let me actually address the border problem, because this is quite a not nice looking border. And let me fix it with this one. Like so. So that kingdom doesn't exist anymore. Um, and now these three kingdoms, they just launch a full on assault. For Kingdom Mercy, they launch a full on assault. It's actually the kingdom for Nordara that takes over most of this kingdom, and they just take over like the entirety of the northern part of the kingdom. And the reason why is because the Italian kingdom, they're going to be very focused on like just defending their kingdom from the Nephil forces. But by then, the Frostclaw kingdom, they also sue for peace very quickly because their palace gets overrun, and they capitulate. So I'm just going to draw the borders here. So they just completely capitulate. Let me actually fix these borders. Like so, and now this kingdom basically doesn't exist as well. It just does not exist. I'm gonna get rid of the name as well. And you know how there's have this problem where the Nefarian forces are having to pull away from Ice Talon, and Ice Talon they do push very hard and they do recapture or reclaim their town. Um, but Ice Talon they don't really focus on expanding too much, and it's simply because um, their army is in shambles. Because they've just been fighting for so much. They've lost quite a lot of their army, and effort's just gone wrong. And so without any other option, the Kingdom of Nifel, they also declare peace. Let me actually get rid of. Oh god. Let me actually get rid of this alliance here. So I'm going to get rid of this alliance because this alliance basically no longer exists. And so now this kingdom is broken up. And basically their territory is just shared between the victors. And the Frostbite, they do claim this part, but then they actually do give some land to their ally to the south, the Ramhold Kingdom, and they do actually give this part to them. And the Queen of Ramhold, she's actually quite happy about this, and she does thank the Queen of Frostbite, or Frostbite, yeah, Frostbite, for the land, and so their relations just get stronger and stronger. The Kingdom of Ice Talon, they also claim quite a bit of territory. Not as much as what they would have liked, but they can't really say much about that. And so they just take control of all this. And so they now control all of that. The Kingdom of Nefel is just not doing well. It really isn't doing well at all. They've, shrunk in size by quite a bit. Kingdom of Nordara, they don't really expand north. They, because they don't really need to expand. But the Kingdom of Chiron, Chiron Kingdom, they do take over this part, and so they just take control of this whole section. So they now control this whole part here, and basically the Kingdom of Nifel, they basically cease to exist. And the reason why is because unrest goes through the roof. The Queen, she is actually assassinated by a dragon that actually lives within the Kingdom of Nifel. And now you have a situation where basically this kingdom it basically is now separate. It declares its independence, and it breaks apart. It breaks off. So you got one kingdom here, and then you got another one. Let's select color here. You got another one which forms around this area here. So we're just gonna paint this whole section in like so. So you got this whole area here. And so they form, but they don't want to be too large. And yeah, it's not looking good for this section of the world currently. Let's actually fill this in. Like so. And I'm going to have the kingdom is also going to expand slightly more because the kingdom north of it doesn't really want this territory that much. Like so. And then you have another kingdom which we will if we color it this color, and so you've got, so basically Nefel just completely broke apart. Let me actually address these border problems. And so now you've got certain islands like this. So it's an absolute mess of kingdoms and territories and just overall problems. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give a thumbs down. Put in the comment section what you think about what has happened to the world so far, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!